has finally come. The day I never thought would come, and that is, I'm actually selling my Evo. It's not clickbait, it's real, it's for sale. Yeah. This video is a supplement to my for sale ad. I still have a proper for sale ad. Odds are that's how you found this video, so you know that, but in case you haven't, I will link it below. I have a proper for sale ad that has details that are not necessarily in this video. Most of what's in this video is in the for sale ad, but not all of it. So there will be, especially around like the extra parts and stuff, because trying to list all the extra parts I didn't really want to do in writing. It was much easier just to film that in the video. Speaking of which, I will have chapters. I may put them on the screen, but they'll definitely be below. And if you like go on the slider, you can jump around to different chapters. I'll have a section for like parts and driving and different things. So like talking points. So if you're just looking for a certain part, my hope is that between the very extensive written listing, this supplemental video, that I'll be able to answer all the questions that you have. If you watch this and you read everything and you still have questions, by all means, ask me. If you're a serious buyer, by all means, ask me. Generally, in my experience, I've sold a lot of my cars myself. In my experience, serious buyers don't ask dumb questions. And serious buyers don't ask questions that are in the listing. Anytime I get a question that is clearly written out down below in the listing, that person never buys the car that I'm selling. So if you ask me a dumb question, I might just ignore you. So with that, we'll do a little B-roll intro, driving of the car, some slow-mo, some different stuff I shot with it, and then we'll get on with this. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. It has been over a year since I uploaded a video to this channel. When I uploaded the last video, I believe it was the M3 of my friend Casey, I had no idea this was going to be the last video, or that was going to be the last video for over a year. Unfortunately, like I said, it's not clickbait. I am really selling the Evo. That's what this video is about. Really, I want this video to just be something that I can put on the for sale listing so people can come and check it out. So it's not going to be so much of a vlog. More just kind of like going over the Evo and showing some things, showing that it's real, that it drives, that it spends most of its time in the garage, and yeah, so that's what it's going to be. But if you don't follow my other channel, you probably don't know this, but a lot has gone on in my life in this past year, including, you notice the new Tundra, the FJ is gone. But anyways, let's talk about the Evo. All right, the garage is a bit of a mess. I am moving. Like I said, I don't really want to get into all the personal stuff, but I do want to show you like a realistic, this is how the car sits on a day-to-day basis. If you're watching this video, you've likely already seen the for sale list and you've seen the photos. You know how good this car looks, but I want to show you like a real life, like this is how it sits most of the time. This is how it's been sitting for all intents and purposes, about a week and a half or so. Whenever I shot the driving sequence, which you'll see here in a minute, it did have to sit outside for a couple days while I was doing some stuff in the garage. So even though it was like under the gazebo, slightly protected, it's still got a bunch of dirt and leaves on it. But it'll take me, 40 minutes to make it look like it does in the photos again. The interior, just kind of like a real life, this is how it sits right now. I think it looks pretty good for 15 years old. A little bit of dog fur that gets tracked on my shoes no matter how comfortable I am. But yeah, and then back seat. So yeah, I just wanted to show you, like, I'm not hiding anything. This is how the car is most of the time. It's sitting here in the garage, which all the more reason to sell it, really. But yeah, we're gonna get into like a normal daily driving sequence, and then I've got some clips that I shot. They're a little bit older, but nothing's changed on the car since then. So that way you can kind of see some different dynamics of the car. But I wanted to do one very recently so that you could see like how it is right now. All right, so we're gonna go for a little drive in the Evo. Today is November 2nd. So hopefully I'll have this video up soon. The car's already warm because I just want to be able to drive right now. This is going to be kind of a real life, like, oh, you're actually like living with the car. I shot a video a couple weeks ago on the morning, like some back roads, just kind of playing around, which I'll probably include at the end. But this, I wanted to just show that, like, look, you can daily drive this car. Yes, I would probably get some new tires for it and maybe some other maintenance, you know, fix the oil leak and such, but you can do it. And there's Type R right there, which I thought was black, but it says purple R on the plate. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna try to do this as a one take because I don't want to edit it. I want it to just be, like I said, realistic. If I get stuck at like a red light for several minutes, I'll probably fast forward through that portion, but gear, 65 miles an hour, all the windows are up, and it's loud. Like I said, there's very little sound deadening. Also have fun. And one thing I realized I forgot to take photos of was under the hood, which I'll probably add some by the time you're watching this. You know, there's nothing special to see really. The spark plug cover I do have, and you'll notice like that's just zip tied on there. That's for the Defi boost gauge. As I mentioned in the listing, you know, I don't know if I mentioned this part, but like if you've watched my videos, you know I am not a mechanic. I am not the type of person you want working on a car. So I did the bare minimum, just like proof of concept, and I plan to take it up to Busher and have them like do all the fit and finish and all that stuff. I just wanted to install the boost gauge just for fun to see it work. So I never did anything crazy. I mean, it's safe there. It's been there for, you know, over a year. Nothing's ever gone wrong with it. But, you know, little things like that you would want to neaten up. Now, I did go above and beyond. I feel like I did pretty good on the boost controller install. I think that came out pretty well. And like little things there, like you'll see like that red double-sided tape to protect the filter from touching the metal. Got a little bit more there. So like my most important thing was to make sure things didn't get damaged. Now, I've said this video is not about what's going on in my life. However, I feel like a little context is needed just to answer the big why. The why are you selling the car? Everybody, that's always the question people want to know. You know, I always hate when people make these listings. I don't need the money, I'm just doing it. I don't need the money, but I do need to sell it. I am going to be basically living on the road for the next year, and if I don't sell it, then I have to come up with a plan to store it. If that was the case, I'd want it to be driven at least semi-regularly, like once a week or so, like it is now, to maintain it. So that's putting a lot of pressure on a friend or family member, most likely, to like, hey, can I store this car in your garage? By the way, it has to stay on a battery tender, and you have to take it out once a week-ish or something, weather permitting, drive it around, put it back on the tender and everything. And if I knew this trip was only gonna last a year, and when I got back, I was really gonna wanna drive it and everything, that's not such a huge ask. But the fact is, I don't know how long this trip is gonna last. I suspect it'll last longer than a year, but even then, even if I do end up somewhere else, it's likely not gonna be anywhere near here, which would mean then shipping the car, and then it's like, what do I do with it? And as much as I love this car, and I love Evos, I think I'm just ready. I'm just ready to move on. And the money would be helpful for the trip. And then we've got some various parts. A subscriber actually sent me this stuff, this really cool white line stuff. Unfortunately, I never got around to installing it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and include it with the sale. I have a mount for the gauge if you want to use it. I didn't really like it, so I just didn't use it. I have a Walbro 225 fuel pump. It's the original box for the Defi. I have some extra oil filters. I have a brand new red cap because you notice the one that I wanted is damaged, or just not damaged, but it's just old and worn out. Some extra gaskets. Oh yeah, brand new Rexpeed UK carbon fiber Evo VIII badging. I have photos where it's on it, and a couple of letters after time started to peel a little bit from washing and just different things, so I didn't like it, so I took it off. But I didn't bother to put it back on yet. That's from the Land Rover. So you may not notice in the photos, but the center console looks so good because I had it replaced. Here's the original. You can have it. As mentioned, the spark plug cover. All that is included. I know we're in the garage here, so it's still a little dark, but notice how much nicer this center console is. Now the ashtray is still the original. It's like $100 and some for the ashtray lid. It's stupid. It costs more than the whole piece. So I haven't replaced that yet. But this is all new. This trim piece here, obviously the boot is. This Gretty shift knob is a little rough, but you know, you can put a new one on, although they don't make those anymore. I do have a new sticker cap for it though, so that should be included. Assuming I find it in the mess, I'll include that. And you could polish it and then it would look nice, but they don't make those, so I bet you could sell that for, you know, a little bit of money too, to somebody who really wanted it. And then as far as the Defi gauge, it's just double-sided taped on there, but it's solid, it's never moved or anything. And frankly, I think it looks better than the one I bought, so I just kind of kept it with that. All right, I think that's gonna do it for the photo shoot. Been out here for about an hour, taking some photos of the Evo for the for sale ad. So I hated to have to sell the FJ, but I will actually be sad when this sells. Yeah. A little bonus video I might put up Tuesday the 19th. I should have this listing up soon so you can see this is current. This road is terrible, but came down here to get photos. It does illustrate the sound deadening well though. You can hear all the little rocks and stuff. I'm going slow, I'm going 25. said, just a little extra video. All right, I'm gonna show you up in the attic where I have some other parts because I don't want to carry them down right now and add to the mess. But all the parts that I have for the Evo 8, for this Evo 8, any leftover parts that I have from my Evo 9 and from my Evo 10 are all included in the sale. You notice like I have the RS original floor mats. I believe I have the driver's one too. I don't know that it came with the driver's one, or maybe it was real beat up. I'll have to look. This is the complete set of Evo 9 floor mats. Now you'll notice in the car right now, I have an entire new set of OEM RS mats. So, I mean, you're good there regardless. This is the original intake from the RS. That's the original OEM front license plate bracket. That's technically for my 9. It would probably fit on the 8 if you really want to do that. I would hope that you wouldn't, but you could. This is for the, it goes over the gas tank under the rear seats, which I don't believe comes with the RS. This is from my 9. It's a piece left over from my 9, but if you wanted to have some more sound detonating the RS, I guess you could put it in. I wouldn't, but you could. Now, as I mentioned, I also have some parts up my attic. I'll overlay that footage. It's not the greatest footage or photos, but I just wanted to show you that they do exist. I have a full set of the original Evo 8 wheels that came with the car. I have a full set of the Evo 9 wheels that came with my Evo 9, although one of them is damaged. You know, there's most of a Evo 9 exhaust, although it will fit this car because this has the ACD. So basically, the main difference between most of the Evo 9 and 8 exhaust is whether or not you have the ACD. This does. The downpipe that I have works with the ACD. So anyways, you can use the downpipe, you can use the test pipe, you can use the axle back. I just don't have the part between the axle back and the muffler because that was a huge pipe and I didn't want to hold on to it. I actually just had a muffler shop make that pipe for like 50 bucks anyways. At the time, that was like years ago, back when I was in college and did stuff on the cheap for my first Evo. So, not cheap, but like, I mean, I had a lot of expensive parts, but I cut corners where I could. Anyways. Trying to think what else is up there that I'm overlaying to talk over, but yeah, I mean, just various parts and stuff that are all included. So you can use them, you can keep them, you can sell them, get some of your money back, whatever you want to do. I mean, between the extra wheels and the extra interior parts and the miscellaneous, I mean, just the interior and the wheels would probably net you a couple grand, so you can get a good amount of money. Here is the Evo 8 interior. Now, I have one downstairs that's out of the bag. I'll show you. The rest of the interior is up. It's in these black bags. Obviously, not going to unwrap them. I mean, you can tell they're like, I don't want to say airtight, but I try to make them as close to airtight as possible. Obviously, those tires, I mean, I guess you could still drive on them. I wouldn't consider them safe just for age alone. Plus, I'm pretty sure the tread's pretty low. Evo 9 wheels are back there. They don't have any tires on them. As you've no doubt noticed, it has an Evo 9 interior. That's from my old Evo 9. I do have the Evo 8 seats. They were all protected and everything. That's why you'll see like plastic on the edges and stuff. That's just to protect them. Why I had them stored. Anyways, so yeah, I do have the front and rear Evo 8 seats if you want. I kept them in the car for a few months before I finally put my 9s in it. Now, as I mentioned in the for sale listing, there's 3 incidents that are going to show up on the Carfax. The most recent one is this right here. It's this mark here. This is from the Buick tapping me. That's all they did. This mark here is actually my own unfortunate, stupid doing when I rubbed up again. Anyways, this mark here, now obviously that's showing a little black, so this I could probably buff out. I haven't tried, but I could probably get most of this to go away, and I probably will before any potential buyer shows up. But I wanted to show it as is. This happened a few months ago. This is all the damage. It was this little scratch and these little marks. Now I'll overlay again some footage I have of my attic. I have the original OEM bumper that shows the damage from the first incident when a BMW love tapped me. I can't even like find the scratch. Partly the bumper's dirty, but the scratch was so small, like I can't even find it. There is some big scratches on it, but those were there when I bought the car. I think the previous owner said maybe it was when they were like unloading something. Jeez. You see all these marks here? That's not from the so-called wreck. That was already there when I bought the car. That happened in like a shopping grocery store parking lot, something like that. I forget. I don't know if he even knew. Marks that are from the so-called wreck are... Honestly, I don't even know that I remember. I don't even know if it really made a mark, to be honest. It might have made like this one down here. This one might be. Maybe that one was. Or maybe that one. These two right here. But like, it really made no marks. Now, I do say it in the listing, but this bumper is an authentic JDM OEM bumper, so this did come over from Japan. It is not some fiberglass knockoff piece of crap or something. Like, it is legitimate. That is the OEM original Evo VIII exhaust. It sticks out a little bit because the 9 bumpers are thinner, and it's so shiny because I know how to clean cars. Now, one of the things will happen with a lot of people, whether they get the real one or not, is they will, US crash bar doesn't fit. So, you have 3 options. Option 1 is you remove it, which is stupid. And anybody who does that is stupid. Never do that. Option 2 is you can buy some aftermarket options, which are nice, but expensive and you never see them. And, I mean, they do save a little bit of weight. Not, you know, it is what it is. Or you can do option 3, which is you actually make it shorter because it's the arms that connect it to the frame that is what the problem is. So I just had those cut down, re-welded onto, and bolted back up. I had a frame shop do that, so it's good. So you're good and safe and everything. So, I mean, I'm not an engineer or anything. I'm not taking liability, but you know what I mean? Like, I did what I could, as much as I could to make it as safe as possible. Did not cut corners on this car like I would have, you know, 21-year-old me, Evo 9, would have been real tempted to just be like, just don't even have it. Older adult me is like, no, not gonna do that. We're gonna pay the money, whatever it costs. If I hadn't been able to retrofit the current one, I would have paid the money and had an aftermarket one. Not gonna go without one. The middle incident, which was a few years ago, on a way into work one early morning, I slid on some black ice. It was like 5 in the morning, like January. And I slid on some black ice. I still have the broken wheel. I still have the broken axle. I did not keep the broken fender, or I don't know what you call this piece, but this piece here, I didn't keep them. You know, the bumper was one thing because it was still perfectly fine. Honestly, I mean, what are you gonna, I mean, the wheel I kept more as the evidence in case even though I never thought I would sell it, it was kind of like, I'll keep this just in case. And yeah, so that's what I have. But not trying to hide anything or anything. It's just, I mean, they're just the simplest things. Honestly, it's, you know, the first time it happened, had the first incident back shortly after I bought the car with the BMW, had I had any thought that I would ever sell the car, I would have just been like, man, it's fine, don't even worry about it. The only reason I filed the claim was, oh, I'm gonna get like $1,000 for that, I'm gonna buy a JDM bumper, and that's what I did. You know, the guy came out and he was like, yeah, you could pretty much just touch this up with some touch-up paint or like something, but whatever, here you go. He was a real cool guy. He had like a WRX. He's a real cool guy. And he was like, here you go. Gave me a check for like, I don't know, $900 or something. I went out, went home, and immediately ordered the JDM bumper. So once I had done that, you know, it's already on the Carfax. So the other 2 incidents, it was kind of the same thing. I was like, well, I might as well just go ahead and take the insurance money. If I bought this car like I do most of my cars, figuring that I won't keep it forever, I would have just never claimed any of those because none of them were really worth claiming. This last one included. So that's it for the for sale video, and frankly, probably the channel. Now, I still make lots of YouTube content on my other channel, including I even did like a video on the Tundra and stuff, so if you still want to follow along, definitely can. But I doubt I'll be uploading to this channel anymore. Honestly, I didn't even know that I would ever upload to this. You know, it wasn't a plan. I didn't like decide like, oh, this is my last video ever. When I made that M3 video, it just kind of went that way. And yeah, you know, to all the subscribers, to all the people who appreciate the Evo content, I appreciate you watching, and all the people who ask me questions. I mean, if you find these videos in the future and you still want to DM me a question on Instagram, you know, assuming I still have Instagram, you know, assuming all this stuff's still valid, like, I don't care. You know, I still get, to this day, I still get people DM me questions about Evos. And if I can answer it, I'll answer it. If this is the last video, I just want to say that I appreciate you all. Appreciate everybody who watched, who subscribed, who supported me and Nisha and the pups and just our family and everything. And hope you got some enjoyment, and most importantly, I hope you got some useful information out of the channel. And you know, it kind of gave me an outlet for all this Evo information that was banging around in my head that really didn't have anything to do with it. So it gave me something to do with it, and it's there now, it's out there. I don't plan on taking the videos down necessarily or anything like that, so it'll be there as a resource. And that'll do it. See you all later. Except I won't. So I guess this is goodbye. Bye. And with that, we're out of here. Video's done. Could go home, but I don't know. I mean, I am gonna go home, but I think we'll take the long way. Take the scenic route. I'm not gonna film it. It's just gonna be for me. Just me in the car. One last like fun little drive, I guess. Through random traffic avoidances and different things, I ended up pulling through past Target and saw this like little. I don't think it says STI. I mean, I don't know. It might be old enough to be imported, so I don't know. But no, it's left-hand. I mean, it could still be imported, but I think it's like a conversion or something, but it's still cool looking. A little rough, but cool looking. Well, it's basically rush hour, so I was limited on how much fun I could have. But if you really, really know your Evos, there is something in the frame right now that tells you that I had a decent amount of fun. That being said, it is drives like this that I start to question my decision on selling. Gosh, it's so much fun to drive, even with the small issues that, you know, I would think the future buyer would want to address to have even more fun. It's still just so much fun to drive. And I don't know, that's all I got. I love this car. It's not perfect. It's a 15-year-old Mitsubishi. If you think it's gonna be perfect, you're out of your freaking mind. But I just hope whoever gets it loves it as much as I do. That's it.